Thank you. You have no idea what, as an educator, when I sit out there and I look at this, you have no idea what that means because I've been exactly where they have been, where they are, and where you're going. My name is Mateen Diop. I grew up right here on the east side of San Antonio, right on Amanda Street, right off Peck. My name that my mother gave me was Milton Potter. Some of you might know my brother Lefty. He's an electrician. You might know my sister Jackie. She does hair and nails and all that stuff. So I grew up right here in this neighborhood. At some point in my life, I realized that I never met my father. So this is a side story, Pastor, because what I was going to say, they completely changed it. But I have to say this. So when I never met my father, but I had his last name. And so one day I decided I don't want to carry his name. I wanted my children to have a name that I gave them. And so that's where the name Diop came from. It's African. It means teacher, ruler, scholar, okay? But what I wanted to talk today about these beautiful young people, I had scriptures in mind, and I said, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do this and do that. And when these children came up here and started talking, it changed everything. But I'm going to just share one with you today. Proverbs 16:9. When I graduated from the University of Incarnate Word, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was getting my degree, and it was a milestone for me. And so when I was doing all the invitations, on the back it said Proverbs 16:9. Man plans, and then God orders your steps. See, it's the plan part that's in here. Those steps, you have no idea what they are. Those steps are going to come along and trip you up. But you may or may not, it's going to be up to you to realize that God has a plan. And I say that because of this. I went to Highlands High School. I had one gift, and that was the gift to play basketball. I was a horrible student. Horrible. 1.5 GPA. Those of you ain't been to school in a long time, that means grade point average. 1.5, that's a D. But I could play ball. Scholarship offers came in until they saw my transcript. And they put the scholarship offer away. One school came to me and said, we want you to come and play basketball for us. I said, where are we going? Houston-Tillerson. I didn't even know what an HBCU was. Hold on now. I'm just letting you know. Houston-Tillerson. I didn't know that was an HBCU back then. I had never heard of it. And it's just in Austin. The coach said, who just passed away, Coach Plummer just passed away, he said, I want to offer you a scholarship and come up here and play basketball. Now, the one gift I had, I figured nobody can beat me in that. So I get to Houston-Tillerson. What was my GPA? What did I say my GPA was? 1.5. So I get to college. I had no idea that you were actually supposed to go to class and pass to play ball. I did not know that, and I'm serious. I didn't. So I get to Houston-Tillerson. I got all the nice gear on. I'm looking good. I show up. I go to every single class. Didn't do not 1 ounce of work. I'm telling you the truth, not one day. But I was in every class because that's where the girls were. So that's where I was. I'm just sitting in class, Pastor, just sitting there. Every single day. Playing basketball the first semester and everything. And this is what changed me. We get to the end of the semester. You know, at the end of the semester, you come home. After you come home, I came home to visit. Michael Jackson's Thriller had just come out. So when we go back to school to go out to pick up for the next semester, I'm getting ready to get on the bus. Bus is parked, I get ready to get on the bus. Coach said, where you going? I said, what do you mean? I'm going on the bus, road trip. We got to go play PV, Texas Southern, let's roll. He said, you can't go. I said, what do you mean I can't go? He said, you flunked out. I said, what do you mean I flunked out? What are you talking about? He said, you failed all your classes. I said, what does that have to do with me playing basketball? I'm telling you what I said. He just laughed. He said, well, you can't go and you can't stay here. So now I'm kicked out of college. Remember, God is ordering the steps. I didn't know that back then, but now I do. So I got kicked out of Houston-Tillerson, came to St. Philip's College. I can play down here easy, but my 1.5 is now a 0 point something when I get to St. Philip's. I still can't play, but I'm this arrogant dude. I'm going to do what I want to do. So I got my average up to about a 1.5 again, started playing at St. Philip's, but my mouth, my head, because I'm so arrogant, I'm so cocky, the coach there, who's my frat brother, he kicked me off the team. I said, but coach, nobody's better than me. He said, yeah, well, you got to figure that out in the streets. But for some kind of way, remember, God is ordering the steps. So some kind of way I ended up, no scholarships. I'm All-American at St. Philip's. I'm All-American in high school, but I have nowhere to go. So I see this school up in Commerce, Texas. It's East Texas State back then. It's Texas A&M Kingsville now. Texas A&M Commerce now. So I get up to Texas A&M Commerce. I walked in the door. I said, Coach, I'm Milton Potter. Give me a scholarship. He said, who are you? I'm Milton Potter. Look, see, I'm All-American. He said, well, come on and try on and walk on. I said, Coach, I can't afford to stay here, so I have to have a scholarship. The coach said, well, you go ahead and walk on anyway. I said, okay. So I'm walking on. Playing basketball is easy. What tripped me up was school. I get to the classes and everything, and I'm sitting there, but stuff's not making sense to me. Remember, God is ordering your steps. So I go to every class, and I'm just barely able to squeak out a C. I got a 2.0 average. I was so happy. But he still wouldn't give me a scholarship. So I had to come back to San Antonio, not knowing what I was going to do. So I'm telling you these things because trials are going to come up. They're going to come. How do you deal with it? That's the key. And I'm talking to my young brothers back here because you are me and I am you. And I'm telling you it's going to happen. So I came back to San Antonio, Pastor. Nowhere to go. Come to find out, University of Incarnate Word is having open tryouts. I can always play ball. So I go to University of Incarnate Word. Now I'm older and older and older and ain't played but one semester of basketball. I get to Incarnate Word and trying out, the coach loved me. I did everything, I dominated. He even gave me a scholarship. All-American at University of Incarnate Word. I still hold records in Incarnate Word to this very day. You go look at the records, my name is still there. You can give me a clap for that. I'll take it. Yeah, anyway, I digress. I played 1 year at Incarnate Word. I said, okay, I got 2 years left. I'm going to just ball out. I'm going to do my thing. At the end of the semester, at the end of the year, the coach called me in. Never forget this conversation. He said, there's a question about your eligibility. I said, what are you talking about? I got 2.0. I can play. He said, well, you've been in school so long that you've exhausted all of your eligibility. And I hadn't even played basketball yet. But because I kept going to with this school and this school and this school, he said, once you start at a university, the clock begins to tick. I had been in school 10 semesters. I played 1 year. Incarnate Word made 2. Thank you for your service, but you can't stay here. Kicked out again. This time I'm too old to even get financial aid. So now what am I going to do? God said, you join in the military. That's what I did. Went into the United States Air Force, hating, and this is the part that you have to understand. At this point, I hated school, hated it. I said, get me in the military, I'm going to go far away. I ain't never come back to San Antonio. I hate everybody there. I'm going on, mama, now. I don't care. I'm leaving. So I left, went to the basic training, did well, went to tech school, did well, got all the way overseas. I'm playing ball overseas now, doing well. And this little voice came into my head and said, I want you to go back to the neighborhood you grew up in and be a teacher. I'm looking around like I don't even have a degree and I ain't never going back to school. The voice kept saying, don't worry, doors will open for you. That's that calm that came down. My steps are being ordered. So I did that. I said, okay, I went to the military office and I said, well, I want to go back to school, but I don't know what to do. It was a brother. He said, sit on down, Airman. Sat me down, wrote the plan for me. You're going to get your degree. Finished up. Later in the 90s, I went back to Incarnate Word. This time, a new attitude, Pastor. I sat in the front of the class, made the dean's list. First time. Graduated. I said, I don't have a degree, so don't worry about it. The military's going to send you back to school to finish your teaching certificate. Went and did that. Got my teaching certificate. Came right back to the neighborhood I grew up in, right here on the east side, and that's when I started teaching. That's the story. I taught for 5 years. I said, I can do even more. God said, well, you still got some military time left. We're sending you back to get your master's degree. I went back to Texas A&M, got a master's degree. God said, well, you're not done yet. We're going to send you to so you can become an administrator. I became a school administrator. Then God said, you know what? We're going to send you back because we know you can do it. We're going to get your doctorate. That's where the doctor comes from. Sent me back to Texas A&M. Went back to Texas A&M, got my PhD, led everything at SAISD, and then became the principal at Sam Houston High School. That's how it happened. So the moral of the story, young people, is this. what I really want you to take from this is, as you go on your journey, you have a plan in your mind, but God is going to order those steps. And when God orders those steps,